it, then you identify, and that directly centers it to the canal of the tibia. After that, you may, it has an external jig that you can use to prepare the surface of the tibia, and that usually is about the maximum that you can do if you just doing the primary cuts is about 10 millimeters. So the tibial jig or the external jig gives you some measurements that you can use to cut that, and you just have to align it to the anterior board of the tibia so that you have your maximum alignment. And the slopes are not usually placed in this case, so you're not worried much about the posterior slope and all that, because you'll find that it's just very minimal that is left around there, so you may not need to measure in tibia the posterior slope. So you are able to hold your jig in place and then you do your cuts. After doing the cuts, definitely you'll use again the same ball reamer to rim the tibial canal until that moment when you hear again shattering occurring. And when you have the shatter, it means that actually you removed all the cancellous bone. In most instances, you'll find that the ball reamer that you use for the femur could be bigger than the one for the tibia. So you shouldn't worry that you have to match the two. You could use 16 for the femur, and then for the tibia you find that it's a size 16 ball reamer. And the moment you establish that, then you use this instrument here, which gives you the mark or the position in which your final implant is going to be. You can see it has something, a tag in front here, that helps you to align with the mark that you can see on the anterior border of the tibia. This is made earlier when you are putting your external jig, because the moment you've aligned together with the anterior border, then you are able to align with this pin here so that you have your rotation right. It's very easy to lose the rotation at this level. Then you can now attach the tibial prosthesis in readiness to match them together, and you do your testing. And at this level is where you can know your alignment, you know how much you have in terms of extension, and the extension actually should be good enough in such a way that you are able to have full extension. If you have something like this, like in the Hinged diagram, meaning you haven't achieved your full extension, and it's possible also to have one in gel where you have hyperextension. Though the design of the implants is that it cannot give you hyperextension. It should give you a product just to the end of it. But if you've not done soft tissue releases, definitely to limit you in terms of having a full extension. You have to make sure that you don't get a lot of external rotation or too much internal rotation. So you have to be careful so that you use your tibial border. At the end of it, you should be able to have your alignment very okay, so that on the AB you have that, and also on the M diagram you can see that there is good mechanical axis that you achieve together. And of course, the neutral position that's on the second toe of the foot. Though of course using the second toe can be very tricky. It's good to use your anterior tibial border so that you're able to get your proper alignment. The moment you're done with that, then now you do your cementing. And you can use a cementing gun, it's okay, but traditionally, as you know, we all use a suction tube to put it into the canal so that you suck out all the fluids or blood that is in the place. And for the cementing of the femur, where you have a length of up to 120 millimeters of length of stem, you need about 80 grams of cement to cement the femur, and about 40 grams for the tibia in terms of cement. So you can see you take double for the femur and single bag for the tibia. And the moment you're done, then you align both the tibia and the femoral component together. Let the cement set completely. There is usually a plastic thing that sits between this hinge of the femur, and that prevents the cement from blocking you when you are having your extension and flexion. So which, at the moment you've done everything and it has settled, then you pull out the plastic pepper, and it should come out very easily. If you find that it's not coming out easily, then you could be having some cement posteriorly, which you may need to check, and you remove it all before you do your final connection. After that, now you do your polyethylene spacer, which is usually fixed over here using a screw And that polyethylene is usually put last. You don't put it when you're doing a cementing, and the hole for the screw has to have a native screw that comes with separately, so that no cement blocks this hole here. So there are just few steps that need to be paid attention to, which we'll be looking at that also during the afternoon workshop, and we'll be able to discuss more in cement on that. So thank you very much.